Welcome back. Welcome to a new anime review series. This is My Girlfriend is a Slutty Virgin. That's the name of the anime. I'm not calling it by his other name. It's got a curse word in it, so I'm not gonna say it. Yep. This series is only 9 episodes, and for this one, I'm reviewing the first 5. Yes, the first 5. You might think, what the heck is this series? Even I thought this was strange when I first saw this Wikipedia. Okay, it's based upon manga, like Friends a Gal. It's a comedy, a sexual comedy. A bunch of sex jokes in here. The manga itself only lasted for a few years. Lasted from July 2015 to December 2019. Yeah, and the anime came out 2 years after the manga started, and it concluded before the manga was concluded. The anime ran from October to December of 2017. So, basically, I was watching anime. Yep. Now, the thing with some of these here, first you have the main character, Harukura. He, of course, is the main character of the series. Where in the very first episode, this is a very strange opening I have ever seen for an anime. Okay, we see his love interest, who basically goes out with in the series, his girlfriend. Her name is Akano. And she says, and she lifts up her skirt and says, "Oh yeah, I'm not wearing any panties." I'm like, what the heck? Yeah, and luckily enough that this is not exactly as part of the dream. So basically, he just invites her to basically talk to her after happily running to her, and she asks her out, and she says yes. Yeah, and they start a relationship, and she meets up with his childhood friend, which this is and then of course he runs into his childhood friend, who her name is Shizuku, and we also meet his adorable little sister, Kanata. Yep, yeah, and they don't know yet he's got a girlfriend. Of course, his sister doesn't find out until the very next episode, but the childhood friend meets her, and she gets on with her pretty fine. And she's like, Haruku, who is this? Oh, this is my childhood friend that he also calls Sis. Yeah, because she's kind of like a big sister to him, despite the fact she's a year older than he is. Yeah, they're actually grade above them. And yeah, they are pretty much in. This is basically a series of very strange interactions over the course of these few episodes. Oh, and by episode 3, he meets her parents, Akino's parents. And her mother is like the spitting image of her. Like, when he first met her mother, it's like, oh, hi Akino. It's like, oh, no, this is not Akino. This is Akino's mother, who looks exactly like her. He even points that out. Like, you look exactly like her. Well, he says, oh, I am her mother. Yep. And then later on, he meets her father, and he basically gets on with her perfectly fine because he seems like a normal person. And here's kind of the strange thing about Akino. She tends to over-prepare for stuff, and apparently Haruku is her first boyfriend that she's ever had. She's never had a single boyfriend, and she tends to act like a robot half the time, which I'm thinking this is kind of weird. And she's kind of not used to being in a relationship. And the way she acts, she basically inherited her mother's very strange personality when it comes to relationships. Yeah. And you're probably thinking, probably watching me talk about this, that what in the world am I talking about? And the way you're describing it, seems like this is a really strange series. And it is. It is so freaking strange. The animation in this series is freaking gorgeous. Yeah, if you're basically who made this series is a couple studios. Damati and Studio Blanc. Yes. Excuse me. Unlike most anime I've watched, which tend to be either Funimation or Viz Media dubs, or occasionally Boom Zoom Entertainment, this one's made by Sentai Works. Yes, that's who does the dub for the series. And one of the characters, Shizuku, yeah, apparently her first series she's in, and I'm surprised about this. She was in the series Got a Kill, and she took care of of mine. Yeah, the character of mine. Who found Tatsumi, and at the end of the original manga, these two actually, well, she fell into a coma, but she did get pregnant basically because of their relationship, and they had a couple kids. Despite the fact he's in dragon form in this series. Oh, and by the way, the anime doesn't go with the actual ending of the manga. Yeah, I kind of wish they would ignore the last two episodes because they're not very good. With the exception of the final episode, which had a really bloody scene. Yep. But in the case of this series, okay, so they interact perfectly. Akane acts perfectly fine with when it comes to childhood friend. Yeah, and yeah, trying to be a good. And oh, in case you're wondering, they don't go into a first date to episode 3. Yeah, and by episode 2, it's like, okay, let's have a bento, and because she doesn't know how to cook, so she asks Setsuko how to cook, and they cook beef stew, and it's revealed because Haruko known her for a long time. Apparently, her parents come home really late from work, so they don't have time to make dinner. Okay, and then the very next episode, he meets her parents. Yep. And it's a very interesting interaction, especially since apparently that Akino's mother, who's smoking hot, yeah, and she, well, shows Haku baby pictures. Yes, basically when she's like 3, 4, and apparently she loves reading. Yeah, she's always seen reading her pictures. It's so funny, and they show a flashback in one of these episodes. I think it's in episode 4 or 5, where she's like a year old, and while her father is pretty much a normal person, her mother is basically like not very experienced in a lot of the stuff. and of course he mentions basically. Now I should point out though, when he meets when Akino meets when he meets her boyfriend's little sister, she basically gets along with her perfectly fine. When she finds that, she's actually shocked to hear that her big brother's got a girlfriend, and when she meets her, she basically is on the floor and she wears like a cat outfit. I'm like, what? Yeah, she's in the cat. She acts like a cat, and apparently she loves to get her head petted by her brother. Yep. Let's see what else. Yeah. Gets along with these people perfectly fine. Oh, there's another character who shows up in episode 4. She's by far more stranger than the female lead of the series. Yeah, I'll get to her soon. So, they go on the first date. Where? To the movies. Yep. And there's a joke that, oh, maybe they go to that particular thing we went to, and she's thinking basically it was the adult film they went to, which according to Akino's father, he's like, no, it wasn't that at all. And I know just by sheer coincidence that it just happens to be this way, is that her father, when he's younger, he looks exactly like Haruka. Yeah, almost exactly like it. And apparently he's like an office worker who basically tends to worry about his wife, which perfectly understandable, basically, for someone. I'm not married, but anybody who probably is married probably can understand that particular stage. Like, he comes home, he sees his wife, basically he's not sleeping well because, well, their adorable little daughter is basically keeping her up, and she's basically staying awake. He's like, don't eat away from me, just go to bed. Yeah. And let's see what else. Not much else to say about that one. It's a particularly very strange one. Yep, and in episode 4, they meet the character of Rina, and she's more stranger than the female lead of the series. Yeah, and she went to an all-girls school for years, and she's like, oh, I like boys right here. And it was like, what? Oh, she's actually talking about dogs. Yeah, and it seems like a lot of the time that whenever she speaks, she's like talking in sort of sexual innuendo. That's pretty much how you can describe how she speaks, but she's actually talking about something else. Yeah. And she also apparently had never interacted with any men before. So Haruka was like the first guy she ever interacted with. I'm like, you have a father. What, is your father on the road? Yeah, they'll mention her parents here. Mention a rich family. Oh yeah, she's a blonde. Okay, fine. And she does something really weird to Akano. She basically takes time to grope her breast. Yeah. As far as I can tell, this is probably the only time her breast's been groped in the series. Because she probably just felt like it. Yeah. And so they say they go on a second date to a zoo. I'm thinking, though, that's kind of an odd place for someone to take her a second date, a zoo. Okay, I personally have been on dates, so yeah. So they go with her to the zoo, and apparently Haruko's sister decided to tag along with a childhood friend who basically, I think her friend basically gives sort of like a nickname. And her parents like, okay, let's go on our date ourselves, and they go to the zoo. It's like, are they so popular? It's like, yeah, it's so popular. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and of course he thinks basically the first time was when Akane was baby. She's thinking about the first time they actually did it together. Yeah, they're on two completely different things. And well, I can tell these two do love each other. It's just that they think about different things. He's like, that's not what I'm thinking about. Yeah. Yeah, and then of course then Rina starts groping the female zookeeper for reasons. They see various animals, and they get very tired afterwards because, well, her father just happened to come into the same zoo that she and Akano and Haruko come to, and the episode ends with them arriving at a love hotel. Yeah, and it starts sort of a minor civilization where they're basically first trying to unlock the door. Okay. And in the episode 5, it's like, okay, let's have it where we hear these two, we don't see them, and they're actually, yeah, they're at a love hotel. No, I've never been to one of these things. Like, oh yeah, take a while to unlock the door. And he says, okay, get some food. Like, okay, so let's take a show. Like, okay, do that. And yeah, 5 is just basically a series of events. Akino gets hiccups. She tries various ways to get rid of it, like try to compress her belly, or whereas Rina thought it was strange way of sticking her fingers in both her ears, which apparently did bother her. And of course, Sodoro decided to hide in a locker in a medical lab for some reason. I have no idea why she decided to do this, because she would have surprised them because she wanted to. Okay, and we also have where Akano thinks she has sort of ESP from being a girlfriend, and leads to somewhat of the right conclusion. Like, oh, he looks tired. He must be thirsty after running out of track meet. Or that's just various things. I don't think what else. Yeah, it's just a series of strange events when it comes to episode 5. Let's see. What's there that take up in the ESP? Oh, I almost forgot about this one. Yes. Because after the second date, they want to have a second date with cherry blossoms, but she apparently over prepared after the next day, and she nearly collapsed when she got to school. So Haruku, the responsible guy he is, takes the nurse's office. Has her relax, they call her mother, take her home, because she's basically not physically able to go to school. And he gives her a drink because apparently she's got no fluids inside of her. So apparently gets her shirt wet. Yeah, there's a wet shirt thing they do both in this episode and the previous one. Because according to her, guys are turned on by by girls with wet shirts. Yep. And her mother basically was like, "Oh, are you doing something scandalous?" He's like, "No, no, no, we're not doing anything wrong." And she just basically just takes her home, and then she feels better by the actual date. But turns out they couldn't have the actual cherry blossom viewing because, well, because it rained. Yeah, they have a thing in this series where it's rained a few times in the series. And one time it rained, a couple times basically, he offered a rose, like, nah. And the second time, yeah, it was like basically, I'm surprised he didn't basically put his arm around her to get close to him so they basically can stay dry before they get home. Though surprisingly, at this point, she has not been to his house yet. Yep. But not much else to say about these episodes. Quite weird, to say the least. And can you believe I just started this just today? Yeah, I'm going to finish this up really soon. I got 2 more videos I'm going to do for this series, and that will be it. Yep. I'm still planning to do One Punch Man today. I'll probably do that soon. And, well, yeah, that'll be pretty much it for this video. I'll talk more about this series when I talk about Part 2. In Part 2, I'll talk about the last 5 episodes of this anime, okay? Do you see next video. Bye.